And I think I was muted on TikTok. Excuse me, YouTube. Let me start that again. Good morning, evening, or afternoon, depending on what part of the globe you're on and what time zone you are in. I'm your host, Skeptically Speaking. Thank you so much for joining us on the show. Let's go ahead and start off with some music, shall we? We're always in the mood for some music, something to lift us up, as we love it. Oh, and away. Yeah, here we go. A 1 and a 2 and a 1, 2, 3.
Sweet emotion, sweet emotion. We talk about things and nobody cares. You wearing other things and nobody wears. You call my name, but I gotta make clear I can't say, baby, where I've been a year. Sweet emotion, sweet emotion.
Well, that was from the Hazegood Band. They're on TikTok. I would dare say they're probably on Facebook, definitely on YouTube. And yeah, definitely check them out. The Haygoods Band, Sweet Emotion. You never thought that that could be bluegrass style. But I have to say, I am grateful that they kept the original spirit of the song. You know what I mean? They just they kept it real. So let me do this. Let me go ahead and see if I can share that to our TikTok brethren who are languishing. Now, I say languishing because, there we go. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? There we go. See if that works. Yeah, I say they're languishing because I won't be able to go live until after tomorrow. So, whatever. I don't care. That's okay. We're going to keep going. We're going to keep going. Well, today, I have some very disturbing news for some of you. Hopefully, none of you. Um, a plantation burned down this past week. Yeah, it happened to be, it was on the Mississippi River, one of the biggest plantations in existence today, maybe. I don't know. Am I being hyperbolic when I say that? But yeah, it caught fire and burned down. Now, I haven't gotten how should I say this? I haven't gotten a update on the story as to why it caught fire. But we're going to be talking about that later in the show. But yeah, we're going to read a few articles on it, and we're going to get the whole shebang, the shazizzle, whatever. I don't care. But yeah, we're gonna be talking about that. And as you can tell from the background from my graphic, I really don't give a fuck. I guess I don't care. I'm actually glad that it's burned down. Now, sadly, the story gets a little twisted, unfortunately. My feeling is it's going to be built back up pretty quickly. But Yeah. So let's go ahead and let's do another. Now this is AI generated, but it's still, these are some of the videos that caught my eye on TikTok. Let's enjoy them together, shall we? Here we go.
Here's a message for the Trumpo fucks. You're a national embarrassment. Your entire worldview is built on the lies of a sociopathic rapist whose only talent is scamming gullible dumb fucks like you. Trump has bankrupted casinos, universities, charities, the truth and the moral compass of half the people in this country. He doesn't give a fuck about you and never has. The fact you still defend him proves you don't need more facts. You need therapy. You're not standing up for freedom. And you are the furthest thing from a patriot. Fucking idiots.
Well, okay then. Tell us how you really feel, huh? Oh, I love it. In the voice of Kramer, I guess, or Kramer on South Park. Technically, I don't know. I mean, it's actually very close. I enjoy it. It gave me a chuckle, and I thought, hey, I know who can use another chuckle. My audience. Why not? That's okay. That's okay. All right. Next up, video 2.
Someone explain to me why it's a controversial and crazy take to believe that women shouldn't have to work a job. Are they telling me that's what women were put on this earth to do? They weren't meant to, go to farmers markets and run around and do fun things all day and read books and sunbathe and nap all day. Like, why can't they?
The idea that women don't have to work will always be the alt-right pipeline. Please keep that in mind. And ladies, let me tell you something. Men only gatekeep the good stuff. Anytime somebody tries to convince you that work wasn't meant for women, please remember that men have never gatekept anything shitty away from us. Women had to fight for these rights. Okay, for a woman, being able to go to work is a privilege. And now they're basically wanting us to do their dirty work for them and refuse to work. All of a sudden, wake up and realize that oh yeah, we don't want to work anymore. We want to leave the workforce in droves. Do you know how much they would love that actually? To me, this is not only the alt-right pipeline, this is also example of extinction burst from men where they're literally no, just give us back our stuff. It'll be nice, I promise. You can spend your whole day reading books and going to the farmer's market and stuff like that. With what money? Because this whole suggestion sounds like a fucking fever dream, honestly. Where are women going to get this money to go to the farmer's market and read books all day? Is the government going to subsidize our lifestyle? Or is this just only an option that's available to married women? Oh, well, if it's only available to married women, then trust me, there has to be a catch. Anytime that something is promised to you, but you have to do something first, there's a catch. Obviously, this lifestyle that this man is describing here is not available to all women. This is not available to single women. This is no government subsidy for this lifestyle. This is available to you within marriage, provided that your husband goes to work, quote unquote, lets you stay home so that you as a woman don't have to work. We are not falling for the benevolent patriarch trope ever again, ladies, because you are just exchanging work for work in that scenario. Really listen up if this kind of content has ever caught your attention as oh, the men are being nice to us. They're acknowledging that work sucks and that girls don't like to work. Ladies, guess what? Men don't like to work either. Do you know why they go to work? It's to have financial power, which is the only kind of power that matters in our world, especially in a capitalist society like the USA with no social safety net. Once again, if this program is not available to single women, that means it's not being subsidized by any sort of government or entity or anything like that, which means you're basically falling for benevolent patriarch trope and exchange of services, right? A man will never keep you around for free, okay? When he says, oh, women should be going to farmers markets and reading books and doing all this stuff and laying outside in the sun, he means after they've cleaned the house, provided that they don't have kids with their husband, provided that they have no other responsibilities, hopes, dreams, like all of this is like leisure time, right? None of this includes actually pursuing your hopes and dreams as a woman, because that's what men would consider like quote unquote careers. And you would do that only for money. Pursuing hopes and dreams that would take you out of the house or away from the children or away from his dirty laundry, anything like that. Okay, all of this is provided that, like I said, the house is clean when you leave to go to the farmer's market and read your little book and like go lay out in the sun, provided you have time to do all that day after you have not just cleaned, but like restocked the groceries, made sure everything is like good in the fridge, made sure everything is good in the pantry, make the bed, clean the bathrooms, clean the kitchen, make his coffee, etc. He expects you to have the time to do that. Then, like I said, all of your activities are going to be leisurely. They don't actually entail any sort of like plan, goal, hope, dream, nothing like that. You're only allowed to participate in like dumb, brainless woman things, which is how men think that all women would love to be spending their time. They also mean until you have kids with that man. Like once you have kids with that man, when are you going to go to that farmer's market? When are you going to read that book? You don't work and he works. And if nobody works, then you guys can't eat. So he works and the kids are your responsibility. Because at the end of the day, most of these men are definitely going to want to procreate. So once again, you are not being given anything for free, okay? This is just an exchange. It's just a different type of work exchange. You need to always keep that in mind, because unless that man is actually offering to like retire you while still paying you a salary, then you are not getting anything for free and there's no benefit.
Yeah, I think I ended that video a little too quick. But oh, by the way, first let me thank Sweet Pea and Joe for tuning in. Thank you so much. And is Sammy in here? I didn't see Sammy. But anyway, yeah, a lot of what she says, it's amazing to me. But going back to what he said, why wouldn't women want to lay around the pool, lay in the sun, and go read a book or go to a farmer's market? Yeah, don't they always paint the patriarchy oh so sublime, oh so wonderful, oh so clean, and oh this and oh that? It's like, when was it ever that? Go back as far in history as you want to go. Where was it ever? Where? When? When was it ever that way? When did women have all of this leisure time? Unless you were all well off and you didn't have kids. Because once you have children, that leisure time is out the window. You don't get all that time that you thought you were going to get, you know? And it's just so sad how weaponized it really is. It's so sad to see how many people get sucked into this, and then half their life is gone. Then they're like, "Oh my God, what have I done?" You know. So yes, we are live on YouTube as well as Facebook. So if ever you need to do Facebook instead of YouTube, there's an option. Here's a singer-songwriter I found on TikTok. Hope you enjoy. We're going to be doing a lot of songs at the end of the program, but I just wanted to showcase a few that I thought just piqued my interest. Oh, by the way, the YouTube TikToker that you saw, Benevolent Patriarchy. This is the YV Edit on TikTok. the_YV_edit. That's her name on TikTok. So you can find her. All right. Next video, please.
You wonder why people cry, fuck the police. All cops are bastards, no justice, no peace. Well, people are tired, can't get no relief. They ain't safe in their beds, ain't safe in their streets. Ain't safe in their beds, ain't safe in their streets. Come out from the dumpsters that he hid between. Ran for his life, but he died on the scene. They fired 5 rounds like it was routine. Yeah, Ryan Hinton was only 18. Yeah, Ryan Hinton was only 18. Brianna was killed at home in her bed. Toledo's hands were above his head. I can't breathe, the last words Garner said, and they knelt on Floyd's neck till he was dead. They knelt on Floyd's neck until he was dead. The list is too long, if only one name, but it runs on and on through America's veins. Can't make no excuse, don't try to explain. We all know the power you kill to maintain. We all know the power you kill to maintain. Kill with impunity, isn't that odd? In a nation where murder has been outlawed, a badge and a gun doesn't make you a god. The system is rigged, it isn't just flawed. The system is rigged, it isn't just flawed. Wonder why people cry, fuck the police. Well, all cops are bastards, no justice, no peace. People are tired, can't get no relief. They ain't safe in their beds, ain't safe in their streets. Ain't safe in their beds, ain't safe in their streets. Ain't safe till they're dead, so fuck the police.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think he said it all, don't you? This is the problem we have in this country is we normalize police brutality. We normalize just shoot and ask questions later. And this is why we have the problems we have in this country. This is why we have people who have attitudes against the police and they're very antagonistic against the police. This is why. This is why we have ourselves to thank, I guess. You know? And now that it's affecting white people, now white people are starting to, we don't like that. And America's Vain, that was sung by Jordan Smart Music on TikTok. And I'm sure he's on YouTube as well. Jordan Smart Music. For those of you who are keeping tabs, let me just plug in my phone real quickly. Yeah. Let's see. Sweet Pea says, 15% of civilians who experience police threat of or use of force during legal interventions are injured. Yeah, 250,000. An estimated 250,000 civilian injuries are caused by law enforcement officers annually. Not to mention the deaths. More than 600 people are killed by law enforcement in the U.S. each year. You know, if 3%, I'll go as high as 5% of the killings in this country happened in Europe, there would be investigations. It would be a shock. Headlines. This is because they treat police brutality a lot different in shall we say, Europe. It's unheard of. They just don't have it. And isn't it amazing? Isn't it amazing to me? And we're going to see more of it. We're going to see more of it. All right. Welcome to Gilead. This next video is going to be a little disturbing. So please be forewarned.
Conservative women out here always telling me, we're not living in The Handmaid's Tale, really? Watch this.
Her brain is gone, they say. But Matthew is just a vessel now, and the baby is all that matters. I suppose it's all that ever mattered.
What was that you were saying?
Yeah, you know what is amazing to me is when I watched the Handmaid's Tale the first time through, I had totally forgot. I mean, each episode is its own horror show. I completely forgot. I completely forgot about that episode. I think that was season 3, season 2. I mean, It's almost a nightmare. Speaking of Handmaid's Tale and Gilead, I did order a book off the TikTok shop, On Tyranny by Timothy Snyder. 20 lessons for the 20th century. I am going to be reading that on our channel, as well as Howard Zinn's People's History of the United States. So there's going to be a lot coming forward. So I got a good deal on Timothy Snyder's book. It's a lot smaller than I thought it would be. So we might zippity-doo-dah through it pretty quick. Some more stats from Sweet Pea. 24 were deaths or in following police custody, with 2 fatal shootings in the reporting year. Following police custody, 24 deaths after the people were put in custody. If that stat is right, that is pathetic. And we allow that in this country because we have allowed the weaponization of the United States. So the last video we watched was Potty Mouth Pollyanna on TikTok. Potty Mouth Pollyanna. Okay, the next one is from Thomas the Villain Bishop. You can find him on TikTok, YouTube, and also Facebook, but he has his business. It is a tiny book. It really is a tiny book. I will you know what? I'm probably going to need a background, but didn't you already make a background for Howard Zinn? I thought you did. Anyway, but on Tyranny, I definitely want to do this, it's bleeding through the, uh-oh. My camera does not like that on Facebook. My goodness. It does not like that. On Tyranny. There it is. On Tyranny. If you're on Facebook, that's what it looks like. It's a very small book. But yeah, if you could, I will not say no to a graphic on Howard Zinn and also Timothy Snyder. Maybe if we can get a graphic with the actual author, because his picture is not in this book. Or is it? No, I don't see it. Maybe it's, about the author. No, it doesn't. It's stripped down bare. It's the bare necessities. So, okay. Moving along. Let's do the Thomas the Villain Bishop. Now, there is a new phenomenon. And I think I may... there is a new phenomenon on TikTok. It's called black fatigue. It's where white racist TikTokers will get in front of a camera and with their whole chest just say, I'm just tired of black people. They won't say it that way. They'll say black fatigue. Not realizing that the term black fatigue was coined by an African-American writer. And if I can get that book, I'm going to buy it. As long as it's not $35. Not that it's not worth it, but I just don't have all the money in the world. But yeah, a black author basically coined the phrase black fatigue, and white racists decided to, colonize the phrase. They took black fatigue and decided to make it theirs. Real smart. Real smart. You know what? Here is a TikToker who thinks that it's a good thing. I'm actually glad that they're being honest. Finally. There are no pictures on Tyranny, and it could elaborate on some points better. Yeah, it probably could. Basically, this is your pocket-sized Constitution version of the book. But yeah. Okay, thank you for that. I appreciate that. Let's go ahead and watch this video. This is going to be a long one, but it's very needed. So if you're not following this creator, please do so.
You know, I just watched a white man talking about black fatigue. And he said that he's been wanting to say this for 40 years. 40 years. Now, he's not an old man. No.
By the way, I did see the original video of black fatigue. This guy is he's not much older than I am. He's not very, so when he says, I've been wanting to say this for 40 years, listen carefully. Listen carefully.
No. He looks like he's in my generation, Gen X. And what's funny is 90% of this black fatigue conversation that's been going on amongst the whites, do you know what generation of people is coming from? White ones. White Gen Xers. And much in the immortal words of Ice Cube, God damn, I'm glad y'all set it off. I am. Because this is a conversation that a lot of people within the Gen X generation, but don't share that white skin, have been wanting to say to you bastards for a very long time. A very long time. Way to adopt the same racist ass attitudes as your parents and grandparents. Good job. Of course you would sell us out. Just because you can talk about certain milestones and touchstones that we all share does not mean we're a generation of people that get along with each other. In fact, some of you motherfuckers I wouldn't stand next to if you were on fucking fire. I wouldn't. While you're talking about Breakfast Club and leg warmers and He-Man and G.I. Joe and Voltron, do you know we just passed the 40th anniversary of the bombing of the MOVE organization in Philadelphia, and I didn't see one of you white, black, fatigue-having motherfuckers say a goddamn thing about it? Did you notice that? Where the Philadelphia Police Department dropped a bomb on people who were living in a socialist commune, black folk. I noticed y'all didn't have, where's the nostalgia for Gen X for that? Where is it? You see, a lot of you Gen Xers, white ones, I might add, a lot of you white Gen Xers, y'all have always been a disappointment. That's why there is no such thing as solidarity amongst the Gen X generation. Because we know how some of y'all move, and we ain't liked your asses since. We saw you. Don't think we didn't. You thought you were able to get away with, oh, well, I like Tupac, bitch. Who gives a fuck what you like? Who gives a fuck what you like when it comes to Pac? That's you glomming on the shit. And you expect, well, we gave you Red Hot Chili Peppers. Where's this white Gen Xers black fatigue for shit like Rodney King? No, y'all like to talk about riots. As if y'all don't remember why the fuck somebody would riot in the first place. See, we lost some of you motherfuckers during the OJ trial. Ain't no use to me lying. Some of y'all lost y'all balls during the OJ trial because you forgot you were Gen X and remembered you were white. And we just been carrying your asses around. Y'all bring nothing to the table. Y'all nostalgia means shit to us.
You know what's amazing to me is when you listen to rock groups like Rage Against the Machine, what was their music about? Do we even remember Rage Against the Machine? The same that burn crosses are the same that work forces. What he was saying is the same people who burn crosses are on the police force. The entire goddamn point was a protest against the Rodney King riot. I didn't realize this. I had to go down a deep dive. Isn't it amazing to me how we forget our own history? And he's correct. A lot of motherfuckers got lost, or they lost themselves. Let's just keep it 100. Anyway, continuing.
It always has. Because all the fuck you did was look at the shit that your grandparents and grandparents were saying, and you try to pretend like you weren't one of them. Because you like Michael Jackson, Billie Jean on MTV. You knew 90% of the shit that your parents said was wrong. Because you got a chance to see us. You got a chance to be around us. But we noticed you guys were no different than your parents and grandparents. We noticed that. We looked and said, While your parents and grandparents remember the greatness of Ronald Reagan, not around here. Not around here. Sorry. There was no greatness to Ronald Reagan. Fuck him every day and twice on fucking Sundays. While you guys remember, we won the Cold War. We didn't win shit. We didn't win a goddamn thing. Some of you motherfuckers wasn't willing to fight shit. The power, fucking the Soviet Union, nothing. You saw what crack cocaine did to our neighborhoods. And you kept your fucking mouth shut. You kept your fucking mouth shut. Even though you knew for a fact the Rockefeller drug laws and Reagan's war on drugs, which was a war on poor black and brown bodies, you knew it was wrong. In your heart you knew. Because you had black friends in school, remember? I can't be racist. I know a black kid. You didn't hear them stories? You didn't? Oh, that's right. But we're supposed to all be unified because we're Gen X. We were the latchkey kids. Some of us were latchkeys because we only had one parent at the house. Some of y'all were latchkeys because your mother and father were getting a fucking divorce. All that bullshit that they told you. All that bullshit your grandparents told you. You were supposed to be the generation to fight that shit. But you didn't. And we see the result now. Some of y'all within the Gen X generation aren't worth a fuck. You're not. Sorry. You are not. All you've ever had is nostalgia. Love you some born in the USA, but you ain't never listened to the lyrics. You have never listened to the lyrics of Born in the USA by Bruce Springsteen. You ain't never listened to it. Never. Y'all want to try to pretend like music was great and we all was getting along. Do you remember when MTV didn't want to play any black fucking artist? Do you remember how your MTV Raps hit? It was music we were making that y'all were fucking taking because the shit was being played more in those small ass white towns than they were around us. We would buy a certain album and then y'all would buy a certain album and that's how the shit would go platinum. That's when artists started fucking catering to your dumb asses. Remember Run DMC and Aerosmith? I remember Run DMC being the hottest hip hop group around. And I remember Aerosmith, the end. Who's want some nostalgia? Fuck you. Fuck you. No. And now we see the result of that shit. Y'all have become the parents y'all couldn't stand. Those divorced parents you motherfuckers dislike so much. I'll never be like them. You're exactly like them. You adopted their same fucking racism. You just use newfangled words. You were the motherfuckers that came up with criminal and thug equals black. You did. You're the one that taught your fucking children that somehow being black is a carte blanche to get a bunch of goddamn things. And the majority of you motherfuckers voted for that stupid son of a bitch sitting in the White House as if you don't remember what happened in 1989. Oh, I forgot. It might not have played well in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. We ain't never been the same. We ain't never been the same. I'm thanking you motherfuckers for actually showing your true colors. Because I ain't trust some of y'all in a while. A long while. This Gen X solidarity has always pissed me the fuck off. Because I know for a fact where I come from and the world that I've seen, some of you motherfuckers not only don't give a fuck about it, but never gave a fuck about it. You just like the fact that we were all in the same generation. We're the unknowns. No, we are the knowns. You motherfuckers are the unknowns. Because we didn't know whether or not y'all were actually going to grow up and be different than your parents and grandparents. Well, now we see that you aren't. Now we see that you aren't. It is quite fucking apparent when it comes to the Gen X generation, with all the striving and the success that everybody else around has tried to fucking make out of that goddamn generation, it's always been you lazy bastards that have always held us back. That's why there is no such thing as Gen X solidarity. I'm just glad you motherfuckers took your mask off. We've been waiting for y'all to be who you truly are for 40 years. I bought the Thriller album. Fucking thrill these nuts. Thrill these fucking nuts. I went to see Purple Rain. Do you want a cookie or something? Y'all have always been a disappointment. Always. Now you're being an out loud disappointment. So I want you to put that on your black fatigue calendar. The very day I see or hear one of you, I'm suffering from black fatigue, motherfuckers talk about the bombing of the MOVE organization in 1985, maybe I'll sit down and deem you worthy enough to have a conversation with. As it stands right now, you motherfuckers are showing exactly why.
The bombing of the Move On org in 1985. I'll have to make a note of that. Of course, I don't have a pen. My secretary, Sweet Pea, if you could just make a note of that. The bombing of the, what was it? Let me just...
You know, I just watched I'm suffering from black fatigue, motherfuckers talk about the bombing of the MOVE organization in
The bombing of the MOVE organization in 1985. Did he say Philadelphia?
1985. Maybe I'll sit down and deem you worthy enough to have a conversation with. As it stands right now, you motherfuckers are showing exactly why we've never trusted some of you. There's not enough MTV and He-Man for me to do so.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to I need to make a note of that in the MoveOrg. Okay. MOVE organization. Okay. All right. Well, after that, I don't know. Let's listen to some more Black excellence. Let's listen to some music, shall we? Okay, here we go.
So I wake in the morning and I step outside and I take a deep breath and I get real high and I scream from the top of my lungs, what's going on? And I say, hey, yeah, 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 hey, yeah, yeah. I said, hey, what's going on? And I said, hey, yeah, 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 hey, yeah, yeah. I said, hey, what's going on? What's going on for real?
Yes, that was Ejadiel on TikTok. Ejadiele. That was her rendition of What's Up. Ejadiel on TikTok. I think that's it. All right. Now, the next one. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. And the next one is going to be Have You Ever Seen Rain? This is by Demo La Violinist on TikTok. Demo La Violinist. Okay. That was an awesome rendition. Smooth, silk violining. So it was May 13th, 1985 in Philadelphia, the bombing. Okay. All right. And you know what's sad? I may have even heard it or read it in passing because there was another book called drugs used as weapons against us, which was more. It was written by a guy who is both a conspiracy theorist as well as someone who knew about. He was a drug counselor, so a lot of his stuff was truth mixed with error. But anyway, I think that's may have been where. That's why it sounds so familiar. I think that's probably where I heard it. And that song was by the Hey Goods band on TikTok, who graced us with their song in the very beginning. Now, the next song literally blew me away vocally. I mean, she did just an excellent job. And so, this is going to be by Official Eternity, with 2 Y's. Official Eternity.
I don't belong here. Oh, she's running out the door. She's running out. She's run. So fucking special. I wish I was special, but I'm a creep. I'm a weirdo. What the hell am I doing here?
Very well done. That was her version of Creep by Radiohead. Now, we're getting to the meat of why we are here. Now, some of you may have heard, there was a pyro event that negatively impacted a certain structure just recently. That means a burning burnt down. And well, you know, I couldn't be happier for this. So, in Louisiana, there's called the Nottoway Plantation. And yeah, it's probably one of the biggest plantations probably in existence today. I could be wrong, but I think it was notorious for being the most audacious, the huge, just in scope. It's just amazing. Well, here is a picture taken. This is a post on Facebook by Ebony Rage Lathan. I'm in tears laughing. Dr. Maya A. Crawford Johnson went to Nottoway Plantation to watch it burn down. Real shit, you should have told me. I would have absolutely went. Laugh my ass off. Yeah. So apparently there are some people that are happy about that. Not just me. You know something, and we're going to get into this. I don't want to spoil it, but yeah. So a lot of people took pictures. Not everybody was sad, though. Well, here is a picture of Frederick Douglass and Harriet Tubman, if they had been around. Oh, don't you just love AI when it's used right? Okay. Apparently, somebody had the sads, and they posted on fucking Threads. I believe this is from Threads. She took her own post from Facebook and posted it on Threads. I'm going to have to expand this so I can read it. There we go. My heart is broken. This is where Jerry and I were married 28 years ago, 1997. 1997. So this didn't happen in the 60s or the 70s. Nottoway Plantation, circa 1859, the largest remaining antebellum home along the Great River Road, Louisiana, has been lost. A fire in a rear wing started this afternoon and has been contained. And an hour ago, winds reignited the embers and the fire spread throughout the main house. Firefighters have confirmed that the fire can no longer be contained. So apparently the wind was like, wait a minute, not enough got burned down. Let me try again. Reignited. Again, yes, Joe. Why would you admit to that? Right. This is a secret I would have kept to my grave. I would have gone to my grave with this. No. I mean, even Ryan Reynolds is apologizing for being married at anyway, that's another story. But yes, so she wasn't done. She kept posting, all that is left of the ballroom of Nottoway Plantation. We were married in front of the fireplace. I went to her post when it was fresh. I don't even know if it's still up. Wouldn't surprise me if it's been taken down. She not only was the plantation roasted, but she got second-degree burns from being roasted by other people. I'm like, lady, stop. Yeah, right. Being proud that you got married in a blood-soaked place. Right. What would be the difference of picking Auschwitz or Sobibor or Dachau? What would be the difference in picking that place as a marriage destination or a getaway? By the way, I'm going to get into it now. The story that really pissed me off about all of this. Yeah. The true insanity, the sadness of this entire story is that this place was still making money. Let me say this again. It was making money enough to stay open. So it was being used for bread and breakfasts, destination weddings. Ooh. What else? Gatherings, catering. You can have your business meetings there, and it's so beautiful. Blah, blah, blah. They were making enough money to stay open, and it was profitable. I mean, if this is what we're going to use these places for, not museums. Don't get me wrong. I'm not against it being used as a museum, but have black people take you on tour. Okay? Yeah. So like Auschwitz, you have Jews that some of them are related to survivors of these death camps. And they've taken it upon themselves to be the spokesman of this museum, and they conduct the tours. I don't know if any survivors are able to. It could be. I could be wrong, but I think the survivors of that would be a little old too old to be doing that. But some of the survivors went back and did tours. And now I wonder what would be the difference. Can you imagine if this plantation had been used instead of a destination getaway? How about showcasing the actual horrors that went on here? Okay, this is NBC News. This was 5 a.m. at 5:25. So this was on Friday or Saturday. She heard. Okay, when Tamika Thompson first heard that the fire at Louisiana plantation on May 15th, she felt a surge of energy in her body as she recognized why the name was so familiar. Her father's family traces its roots to White Castle, where the plantation is based, and she believes some of her ancestors were enslaved there. It's personal to me, Thompson said. There's literally a heat I feel. Look at this palace. She wasn't the only one with a strong reaction. As images of the inferno and its aftermath circulated, some took to social media to bemoan the loss while others celebrated its destruction. A plantation roughly 25 miles from Baton Rouge was billed as the largest antebellum home still standing in the American South, and like so many other symbols of its era, it has become a Rorschach test for how residents grapple with the region's history. The fire there has revived a conversation about how properties born from slavery should be viewed and how they should function today. Yeah, after the fire, really? After this place has made money? Nottoway, a former sugar plantation, has been criticized for whitewashing the past. It has promoted a 40-room resort with an outdoor pool and ideal for weddings. A history page on its website describes the names and sizes of century-old oak trees on the property, named after the children of John Hampden Randolph, for whom the plantation was built, but fails to mention the history of the roughly 155 people who were enslaved there. Well, no fucking surprise. Huh? No surprise there. Why are we surprised? A quote, there are places where people bled, people sweat, people built something that they could never actually have a piece of, said Eugene Lee Johnson, a political science assistant professor at Southern University who attended a senior prom at Nottoway in 2009, when the property was under different ownership. Plantations are basically graveyards as well. Now, this is interesting. This person who is speaking literally went to a Christian school. This is where this book comes into place. American Crusade, Weaponizing Religious Freedom. That's where this book comes into play. Because all of these Christian schools got started in the late 70s, early 80s, mostly. And they were a response to forced integration. They didn't like that, so they started their own segregation academies. And that's how they should be inferred to. Even the curriculum used is segregationist. Yeah, and so he was forced to take prom pictures at this location. And even as a child, he knew, wait a minute, this is wrong. Why are we here? But he was being forced to, because how can you say no to authority, right? Especially as a child. But how many adults went there? Well, my boss is hosting a picnic. We better, can't say nothing. Unbelievable. The New York Post, the fire first appeared to be electrical, and he acknowledged the plantation's complicated history. Oh, complicated history, really? He distanced himself from its legacy. We need to move forward on a positive note, and we're not going to dwell on the past racial injustice, he said. Oh, that's nice. The Nottoway's current owner, William Diaz, an attorney who only recently purchased the property, declined to comment for this article. Yeah, go fuck yourself. Yeah, who was the Bush administration? Who was the Attorney General of the Bush administration? Secretary of State. His name escapes me. He actually owned a plantation, and that's where he retired to. Rumsfeld. Yes, Rumsfeld. Just popped into my head. Donald Rumsfeld owned a plantation. And none of us wanted to believe that the Bush administration was racist too. Oh, it couldn't be. Fuck off with that. Rogers said she wasn't familiar with the Nottoway's operations, but said it was important to offer plantation visitors a clear view of slavery. Quote, if you are telling a story on a plantation that does not center the black experience, you're not telling the truth about the plantation. Exactly right. Black people made that plantation go. It couldn't function any other way. It isn't always easy. Yeah, thank you, NBC News. Fuck you, too. President Donald Trump largely dismantled the Institute of Museum and Library Services, which provided the Whitney Plantation with 2 grants. Amazing. Donald Trump and his stupidity canceled a grant to a plantation. One of these plantations is owned by the University of New Orleans. They help fund an exhibit about resistance on plantations. Oh, okay. And other help pay for programming, including a virtual tool and a virtual tour and no, not Ashcroft. I'm thinking of Rumsfeld. I'm sorry. I think I've got the person's name or his position wrong. He was either Secretary of State or anyway, I'm not getting his position correct, but it was Rumsfeld. Exactly, Rumsfeld. Oh, I think he ran the Pentagon. He was in charge of the Pentagon because during 9/11, that's when. Anyway, gotta be careful what I say because I'll get dinged. Let's see. Anyway, yeah, more good news. So, one woman wrote on social media that she first fell in love with the plantation during a 4th grade field trip and would go on to spend her 20th wedding anniversary there. Let me get this straight. A woman sees, she goes and visits in 4th grade. And then for her 20th wedding anniversary, that's where she goes. And she didn't learn anything in that time. You learn nothing. All 20 years you were married. So I'm going to guess maybe 30 years went by. Nothing. This is why they want to suppress history, folks. A black woman who said she had worked as a tour guide at Nottoway wrote on Facebook that a visitor once asked how she felt about working there. Amazing. Amazing that a guest would have the inner angst to say, yeah, how do you feel about working here? And she says, I give these tours and let people see my face here to show that we have survived and thrived despite America's inhumanity to us. Well spoken. Well spoken. The post went on to defend Nottoway existence, especially now when history is being whitewashed to exclude people like me. We still need to have these places stand. Well, yes and no. I mean, they don't. I guess I can understand where she's coming from this aspect that it's good that we don't forget our history. Yes. We don't want to forget our history, but we don't want to make these bed and breakfasts, you know? They shouldn't be money-making schemes. Andrea Livesey, a historian based in England who studies slavery, visited a plantation in 2019 when it was under the previous ownership. She said her tour guide wore period dress and rarely mentioned slavery. It's almost this Gone with the Wind style narrative. Exactly. I would describe it as an Old South theme park in the way it was set up. Yeah. Why re-erect a symbol of something that hurt so many people? If it is rebuilt, she says she hopes it will pay homage to those who toiled there. Yeah, that's what needs to happen. Plantations, yes, they can be, they can be teaching tools, yes. But then again, we don't need statues, do we? What's the difference between a statue and a plantation? Interesting. That's interesting. Now, here's another article. Go away. Video, no, we're not going to watch it. After a fire engulfed the mansion on Louisiana's Nottoway Plantation, one of the largest remaining pre-Civil War houses in the Deep South where scores of enslaved Africans labored, video footage of the combust landmark lit the internal blaze. It was a moment to celebrate. Let it burn by Usher. Hashtag let it burn. For others, it was a moment of sadness. Like, ugh, again. Some plantations try to ignore their past. That's saying it very, very mildly. And with, profiting off of people's pain is ridiculous. Exactly. I agree. It was last resort. Joseph McGill, blah, blah, blah. And you know what? I say good riddance. Let it burn. If what it was being used for is just a getaway destination, fuck it. Let it burn. Fuck it. You want to keep it standing? Let black people own it. I mean, I don't want to sink another... I don't want another goddamn tax dollar going into preserving these Institute of Horrors. Anyway, that's all I had to say about that. But, to me, I'm not sad. I'm not sad it burned down. Let it burn. I don't care. Let it burn. Let it burn. Let it burn and crumble to the ground. Let a high wind scatter the embers. Fuck it. It's like, what are we even doing anymore? Okay, with that, the last half of the show is going to be the Kenny G hour. We're going to let Kenny take it away, and I'll just shut up and let him cook.
Remember in December when I was telling y'all about Earth Justice? Well, I don't think I did them enough justice because they've been justifiably whooping Trump's in court. So here's the tea. Just recently, Earth Justice secured a major victory against Felon 47 when he tried to revoke Biden-era protections that would have saved our oceans from offshore drilling. Earth Justice must have had Annalise Keating on their legal team because they was giving it to him. They argued that even though Trump has the ability to withdraw offshore areas from leasing, he does not have the ability to revoke and rescind withdrawals that was sent by prior presidents. Only Congress can do that. And last time I checked, you might have the House and you might have the Senate, but you're not Congress. You are not that branch of government. You are not the dictator you think you are. In fact, somebody lied to him several times and told him he was that girl, but he lacks the vernacular that he thinks he possesses because Earth Justice checked like a chessboard. And speaking of chess, let's say it with our chest. Earth Justice is fighting for us. I know a lot of people think that, they only care about marine life and they only care about the mammals and the earth, but they're also fighting for us too because all of those things affect us. Did you know that offshore drilling contributes to air pollution, which decreases our air quality, which could cause cardiovascular and respiratory problems, which contributes 13% of deaths in the United States alone? And guess who's disproportionately affected the most? People like me, POC, low-income communities, those who live within the areas of these oil refineries. So if we're protecting Mother Earth, we're protecting all of us. And Earth Justice is fighting for the Earth and us, but they can't do it alone. They are a nonprofit that's completely powered by the people. So please click that link in my bio and give what you can.
And that was Kenny G from Too Raw, Too Real. All right. Let's go ahead and play another one.
Bitch, I'm back, but I have a question. Before I go on vacation, I'm gonna need y'all Democrats to get y'all shit together. We need to figure out what we need to do about David Hogg, okay? Y'all need to hog tie his ass into the motherfucking basement until we're able to get a new motherfucking DNC vice chair because his ass gotta go. At this damn point, he talks about, Democrats' approval rating is 27%. By the time his ass is through and doing this motherfucking campaign and going from pillar to damn post talking shit about Democrats, our fucking approval rating is gonna be at damn zero by the time he get through with our asses, because I don't see how he's being helpful. He spends every day of every motherfucking second causing more voter apathy, talking about what Democrats aren't motherfucking doing, talking trash about the Democratic Party, than being helpful and actually letting the American people know what Democrats are doing to actually combat the Trump administration. Democrats have filed several motherfucking lawsuits, won several motherfucking lawsuits. People have been pushing back against this administration, but yet he has not put out that information to every motherfucking platform he's gone on. All it's been is Democrats ain't shit. Democrats don't do this. And I'm going to attack James Clyburn, even though I promised to raw to real that I would not go after CBC members. But instead, I'm going to renege on what the fuck I promised this black person. Because
let me pause this. David Hogg responded to Too Raw to Real. He says, Representative Al Green is one of the best members we have. We need to win House majority and elect Hakeem Speaker. The Black Caucus is the conscience of the Congress, and we have to expand it. So he's saying all the right things. I'm gonna reserve my critique until after the video.
Fuck him and fuck the black community and fuck CBC members. I know I said we need to expand it, but instead of that, I'm going to be highly motherfucking disrespectful to James Clyburn. Secondly, the Democratic Party's job is about policy, ideology, not how you're going to get some motherfucking pussy. It is not our job to try to appeal to white male fragility, knowing the mere fact that your ass is feeling, oh, well, I gotta walk on an eggshell because I can't be misogynistic, I can't be racist, I can't be homophobic, I can't be xenophobic, I can't be transphobic, I can't be all of the things that I am because I want to feel good about myself. I want you to, make me feel good. Be that I'm a horrible motherfucking human being. It's not our motherfucking job. Okay? I'm not sitting here trying to appeal to people that are never going to vote for the Democratic Party regardless. I don't give a fuck about that. Why not take all those efforts into going after the people who decided to sit their ass at home, reinvesting in the people who feel like they have been forgotten? What about that? Why are we going after racist whites who will never fucking change? I'm gonna waste my motherfucking time trying to appeal to people who found that it was more conducive to vote for a rapist than a competent black woman. You really think that's what I'm gonna waste my time on, rather than going to those damn communities that feel forgotten, actually coming up with policies and ideas and ask them, why didn't you show up? What is it that's going to take to get you to the polls? Those are the people I want to go after. I don't want to go after people who are racist and prejudiced and all of these damn things. I don't want those people in my party. I'm not going to compromise my existence for a racist. Everything David Hogg said in that motherfucking interview with that portobus monkey looking ass motherfucking Bill Maher was highly fucking offensive. I'm a man. I get it. I read through them motherfucking lines. You may be a woman and may not get this shit, but I do, and I'm not with it.
Well, all right. So when David Hogg first came on the scene, I thought, well, finally, a breath of fresh air. We'll get somebody young. We'll get somebody involved. We'll get somebody who's, concerned about gun violence and this, that, and the other. But I'll tell you what, if his anti-blackness is going to start creeping into the equation, now we've got a problem. Now we've got to start making some executive decisions. Now we need to ask ourselves, should he actually be the face of the party? And I'm not seeing good vibes. I'm not seeing anything concrete that's going to make me want to sit back and say, you know what? I think he's safe. I think he's good. And we need to be cognizant of this. We really need to be cognizant of this. We can't we can't take any chances. Look what happened to the guy, Uncle Fester from Pennsylvania. John Fetterman. Look what happened to him. This guy is literally losing his mind, losing his brain, and he's lost it. I mean, just some of the bad personal decisions he's making as a person. I mean, and then all the things he's saying, ugh. The strokes have had a number on him, but also that anti-blackness has always been with him. And we need to keep that in mind. And we need to make sure that we don't give him a pass because, whatever.
Look at this obese ass bitch looking like a fat ass house cat.
This motherfucker could probably go for some meow mix right motherfucking meow. This grazing hussy got so much shit to say about Joe Biden, sleeping Joe, but this motherfucker can barely keep his eyes open. First, I thought the motherfucker was doing cocaine with all that damn heavy damn breathing, all that. But in fact, it's just a fat around his neck choking off his motherfucking airway. This bitch can't even breathe. When he said he was grabbing women by the pussy, I thought he meant his neck because that looked like a motherfucking labia. What's the beef? It must be beef curtains. Can't stand this motherfucker. He ain't serious worth a damn. Every 5 motherfucking minutes with his ass is a crisis. Tariff this, tariff that, tear off that motherfucking toupee, bitch. Tyler Perry wouldn't even come up with a toupee like this. This must be the most transparent motherfucking president in our motherfucking lifetime because that toupee, baby, I can see right through you. Trump gotta go. Stomach looking like a bowl of mashed potatoes. We have the most incompetent motherfucking president on the goddamn planet. What the fuck is he looking at? Jingle keys must be on the ceiling. Somebody please put his old ass in a motherfucking home.
Well, tell us what you really think, please. Oh, by the way, that was Kenny from Too Raw Too Real on TikTok. He's also on YouTube. He's also on Threads. He might even be on Facebook. I don't know. He was on Bluesky, but I think he stopped posting. He stopped posting on Bluesky because of the 3-minute. You're not allowed to go over 3 minutes for your video. It's stupid. Stupid. Bluesky is literally cutting their legs off. And content creators are not going to go there if they can't post their content. So, wake up, Bluesky. You've got time.
Call me Paul Revere because you heard it here. White male loneliness should scare the hell out of women everywhere. Ladies, listen to me. You in danger, girl, okay? Put something in your purse. Okay, find you an accountability buddy. If your ass going to the goddamn bar, you only getting 1 or 2 or 3 damn shots, your ass is leaving. If you came there with a friend, you leaving with a motherfucking friend. To my trans women, put a tracker on your phone. Share your location. Put an air tag in your bag. When I first heard about white male loneliness, I thought, damn, this sounds dangerous. I grabbed my crouch and closed my legs and said, who coming for my cooter? And I'm a whole ass man. No, man, Pam, hey, sister soldier, you better put it on a holster. Ladies, this is not a drill. This is very real. These men are getting desperate, okay? They think they entitled to see some titty. Back in the day, at least they used to pretend to be interested, take you out on date, ask you what your ambitions, ask you your goals, ask you questions, ask you about your personal life, and see if you have the potential to be their wife. Mind you, now that we have Felon 47 in office who was liable for sexual assault, these people getting bolder than a bitch. And with this white male loneliness, I'm concerned for my sister's safety.
Yeah, the male loneliness epidemic, yeah, it's gonna get a lot worse, and it's gonna get a lot more interesting, all because men decided they didn't want to do the hard thing. They didn't want to do, actually, no, it would have been the easiest thing in the world to stand up for women's rights, and to call out these terrible ass opinions by men, and just say, look, enough of the rape apology. Enough. What are we even doing? This is stupid. This is silliness. Here we are. So, and it's just only going to get worse. Anyway, let's continue.
Assault, these people getting bolder than a bitch. And with this white questions, ask you about your personal life and see if you have the potential to be their wife. Mind you, now that we have Felon 47 in office who was liable for sexual assault, these people getting bolder than a bitch. And with this white male loneliness, because you heard it here, white male loneliness should scare the hell out of women everywhere. Ladies, listen to me. You in danger, girl. This is not a drill. This is very real. These men are getting desperate, okay? They think they entitled to see.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the player, but yeah, every time I try to fast forward it or move it, it doesn't like it. So we'll have to end it here. But yeah, anyway, that's just OBS. But anyway, yes, I wanted to say thank you so much for joining us on the Biblical History Skeptics podcast. Some things I wanted to leave with you. Words of the day. We've lived in peace for so long, we've neglected the possibility of evil, and we may have forgotten how to fight it. We've been fools, and in this land of ours, a fool's paradise. The foul racist MAGA bigots would rather suffer less than you than thrive next to you. This is their entire mindset. And that's why we are in the predicament that we are in. This is why they cannot be reached with logic or reason. They're incapable of learning and will only change course when their suffering reaches unimaginable proportions. And even then, they might not. You know? How much? Now, some more good news before we leave. Jake Tapper's book is not doing well. Not doing well at all. Yeah, talk about unwashed, unwanted opinions. This is Jake Tapper. You know, his book is completely scandalous, and I love the review of one of Joe Biden's daughters gave of it. She said, yeah, I've read this piece of trash, and it's garbage. I mean, the majority of this is unsubstantiated rumors. This is something you find in a rumor mill mag. You know, it's just, it's unbelievable. You know, it's like, how many of you have been marked safe from buying Jake Tapper's book? By a show of hands, you know, how many of you have decided against reading the pile of trash? I'm not even going to waste my time. You know, we knew Joe Biden was old. He's older than dirt. You know, we didn't elect him for his youth. We didn't elect him for his smooth way of talking. He stutters, and he stutters very badly. He's struggled with it all his life and has triumphed in spite of it. We elected him because he's the best candidate, or he was the best candidate to get us out of a pandemic that Trump mishandled, by the way, and the economy that Trump wrecked due to his trash approach to governance and policy and his mishandling of the pandemic. You know, I only had one expectation of him, and the expectation was that he would not be or act like Trump. That was it. I didn't know much about Biden. This is after I came out of conspiracy theory land, so I had to sit and actually listen to facts for once. But most of the information I had on Joe Biden was a bunch of conspiracy theory nonsense that I had to work my way out of. You know, I had to actually start getting to know Biden, what he was actually about. You know, it wasn't hard for me to actually defend him against the attacks from people on the hard left. And some of them were sharing some of the exact same conspiracy theory content that I saw. And it was the exact same content that the right MAGA contingent was sharing. It's amazing. You know? It's unbelievable. But anyway, back to Jake Tapper's book. I hope it fails and fails badly. The end. And with that, I will say good night. Let's listen to some sweet emotion.
Sweet